Hi, everybody. It's Tony Hull, and I am here in Albuquerque, and I am at the PPE. The PPE convening, and I just wanted to stop and touch base because I miss being on Facebook. Actually, I do miss doing the Facebook lives. It's summer now, so kind of slowing down on the Facebook lives, but. That's why I am on this. I'm on my page in the summer, and it's really an important reflection piece for me. These videos, so I know that it really helps me think about what I'm going through the year and things like that. So it's important that I do these videos, and I thank you guys for being on. And it's my way of reflecting. So those of you that are thinking about different ways of reflecting, this is my way. And I talk to myself and talk to you guys. And it's actually not as weird because I'm talking to you guys. So I just wanted to reflect on some of the things that I learned today and share them with you because, we go to these different events and you think, okay, what am I going to take away from this? So here we go. And I did take something away that I think is kind of cool. I call this Reinventing Middle School, but really it's more about like inventing or refining yourself as a leader. And so whether you're in the classroom, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a principal, whether you are in district office, it's about who are you as a leader. And it's about how to really, when we say reinventing middle school, well, it's about reinventing yourself because you have to continually improve. You can't stay the same. And so the leaders that do, they're going to ultimately fail at some point. So let me share something. This is pretty, I just thought it was pretty powerful today. We went to a session and it was about building a culture of trust in our leadership conversations. Okay, trust is important. It's huge. And it takes a while to build and it can quickly be broken. So we know about that. So the piece that I thought was really interesting is about this. It's called, and I've never heard this term before, so maybe I don't know where I've been to not hear this term in education after 25 years, but conversational intelligence. CIQ. And this is a book, too, that I'd like to get. Judith Glasser, Conversational Intelligence. So conversational intelligence is about how you converse with others, because every conversation is important. And so we have to remember, that really stuck with me. Every conversation is important as a leader. Even if it's one of those where they're walking and talking with one of the people in your organization, in your school, in the district, whoever. Something that is maybe seems small to you, a small interaction, could be a big interaction to someone else. And I know that there's a TED Talk about lollipop moments, and it's about how you impact people and you don't even know it. So conversational intelligence is one of those things that I feel like, well, that's huge. Like, where we are, I'm going to read this because it's just really good. A collective effort that's essential to an organization's ability to create a shared meaning about what needs to be accomplished and why, so that employees get excited and are clear about the future that they are helping to create together. Wow. That's it right there. That's it. Judith Glasser, thank you very much. That's it. Because you know how that happens when you're talking to people and, you know your vision as a leader and you think that you've said it, but then people are like, I don't know it. Like, I don't get it. Like, you need to share your vision. And that's what's happening now. So those of you that know, like, I'm at Lynn Middle School, and it's a new assignment for me. And I I have to challenge myself as a leader to share my vision in a clear way. And I need to look at my conversational intelligence. Maybe it's not as good as I thought it was. And so it's really important that we as leaders think about that. And so I did reflect, and it's true. We have control over our explanations. So how I explain the vision is critical. It's critical. And I need to get better at it. And I know that this is another one. Here's another goodie. Takeaway. Okay, save you the trip to Albuquerque, no. So this is a blind spot in conversations. And I feel like there are 5 blind spots. I'm not going to share all of them with you, but I'll read the book, and I'm sure I'm going to talk about this again. But so the biggest blind spot that I see as a leader, I'm going to self-disclose, is that it says, we make the assumption that others see what we see, feel what we feel, and think what we think. So true. So true. You know, we forget. We're like, how come you don't see it? How come you don't see it? But you know what? We can't assume that. All of our experiences took us to the place we're at right now as leaders. You have only walked in your shoes. So no one else experienced what you experienced, your exact experiences. So we have to remember that. And we have to be mindful of that. And we have to know that people need different types of explanations. People need different types of visuals. People need to see things just like our kids in the classroom need to see and learn in different modalities. As leaders, sometimes we forget. And I do it. Guilty. Because I'm like, how come, what am I doing wrong that people aren't seeing it? And it's interesting because it happens everywhere. It doesn't matter if you've been out of school for 2 months, 2 years, but it could happen anywhere. Of course, it happens more in a school that you're at, with a newer school. But so I thank you guys for being on. This is exciting. So that's just a huge one. Remember that blind spot. We all have our own lens. Even if we're all principals, we have our own lens. Because no one has walked in our footsteps exactly the same way. And I think we need to remember that. And that made me feel really good because I just thought, okay, I need to remember that blind spot, and I need to remember how to phrase and how to frame the vision and mission in a way that connects to people. And if we're going to reinvent middle school, we have to do that, or any school, or education. And we have to look at through multiple lenses. And I know it's easy to say, but sometimes when we're in the moment, we just don't do it. And everyone, another piece of this is that everyone has a need for significance. Everyone, our students, our teachers, our cafeteria aides, our EAs, everyone needs significance. And if we can and I call that the why, and that's what Simon Sinek calls it, the why, is that everyone has a why, and everyone needs to connect to their why in order to be motivated and have great staff morale. And so that's huge. We need to connect to that why. And everyone has it, even if it's buried deep inside where some things have gotten messy and disappointments and things like that have set in a school culture or in any organization's culture. So it's important to think about these things, and that I never thought of this, or I never heard of the word or the phrase conversational intelligence. And so think about your organization, your school, office, if you're at the district, what is the conversation CIQ of your school? Is it high? They rate it on 0 to 5. 5 meaning that it's like things are going, everyone knows the vision, everyone's working overtime and doing it, and everyone wants to be there. How do we get there? We have to reflect ourselves on that and really think about, what am I doing as a leader that can be done better? So that the people in my organization reconnect. Let's go back to the definition. They create a shared meaning, so they get excited and are clear about the future they're helping to create together. Huge. It's not helping to create by yourself. It's to create it together. And I feel like that's the key right there. That's the key. Collective effort to help create this vision together. And CIQ. I think it's more important than IQ. I think it is. Because you can have a high IQ, but if you don't have a high conversational IQ, boy, how are you going to connect with anyone to do anything big? It's just powerful. So think about your CIQ. Check out that book. I'm going to check it out myself, and I'm sure it'll come up again. But yeah, that was my takeaway from today. And thank you guys for being on. And I think it's CIQ. It's CIQ is going to be the way that we transform schools. The way that we transform schools. Collective effort to create a shared meaning that gets employees excited and are clear about the future that they're creating. Together. Together is the word. Together. And so we can't do it alone. Hey, before I go, I want to share one more blind spot, because this is so, this was interesting and powerful again. Now, there are 5 blind spots. I'm not going to share all of them. I am not the author, Judith Glasser. Props to you, Judith Glasser. I like this. I'm going to get this book. But let me tell you the second one that I think that I am definitely have a blind spot for. It says, we make the assumption that meaning resides in the speaker, when in fact it resides with the listener. Isn't that true? Like we go in, we have our vision, we have our mission, we have it written so nicely that we're like, you're gonna get it. In fact, it's not about how we prepare that. It's how is the listener receiving it. How is the listener receiving it? I don't know. That made me really think, because I know we're like, wow, I did a great job on that presentation, and I at that meeting, and I just don't get why people left feeling the opposite of what I wanted them to feel like. And it's that, because we're assuming, what happens when you assume. But that meaning resides in the speaker, and it doesn't. Meaning resides in the listener. Huge. So we have to have conversations, and this is what the trainer said, where the person actually hears you. Because I feel like I've said that a lot of times. I'm like, I've said it so many times, and they're just not getting it. But are they really hearing me? And it goes into a whole nother thing about like how we're listening and levels of conversation. And maybe I'll get into that another time. But levels of conversational intelligence. And, I get excited about this. Okay, so, and it was just so huge because I know we could be there. But in order to transform middle schools or any school or any organization, you need to be at level 3, which is transformational conversations. And I'm just going to speak and say at MVLA, we have transformational conversations all the time. All the time. We're putting things out on the table and talking about way up here, what is the vision? How are we transforming our school? All the time. It's a continuous thing. And that's what you want. Now, of course, you have level 1 and level 2, transactional and positional. And I'm not going to go into all that because this has become like a lecture on conversational intelligence. But and I just learned about it today. So I'm just sharing some things, some takeaways. Is that when you know that you're moving your organization or your school when you are having transformational conversations. Huge. Transformational conversations. And those are the things that are going to obviously transform your organization. But you can't have them if you don't have that. Go back to the high conversational IQ. back to the collective effort to create shared meaning so employees get excited and are clear about the future. Conversational intelligence. Very exciting. Very exciting for today. So, all right. It was great to see all you guys on here. We have family. We have some amazing teachers on. Oh, man. This is just awesome to see you on, and I thank you for being here. And thanks for listening as I reflect on the day. And we'll keep reinventing middle school and keep reinventing school for all kids. And thanks, and have a great evening. Talk to you soon.